easily one of the biggest epic failures in business of all time is wanting to provide a product and service to an audience that you do not understand. And this even gets deeper than not understanding the audience. It goes as deep as not understanding human psychology in general. If you don't understand human psychology, do you realize that you're going to find it harder to attract people, harder to get followers, harder to get people interested in what you have? People say, well, nobody's liking my stuff, or nobody's following me, or nobody's viewing, or nobody's joining my trainings, or nobody's opting in. I'm not getting leads. I'm not booking appointments. I'm not getting clients. My people are not staying. My team is not respecting me. Do you realize most of the issues that you face when it comes to people comes down to human psychology? So especially when it comes to your advertising, if you don't study, and look, I'm not a psychologist, by the way. I'm not licensed. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not claiming that I know everything in the world. I went to school for engineering. so that wasn't even, which is like the opposite of psychology. It's very technical. It's very logical. It's very, right? But I picked up fairly quickly that when I decided that I wanted to really start taking business seriously, I said, I want to focus on what I can do to understand how to connect with people more. Because when you understand how to connect with people, when you understand what gets people to take action, when you understand how to motivate somebody or inspire somebody to change for good, anything good does have a flip side, right? Anything. So, obviously the things that we're going to talk about today in this training, especially when it comes to cognitive biases and applying it in your advertising, which stick around because I'm going to walk you through specific cognitive biases that's very powerful to dramatically increase your conversions when it comes to your advertising and your marketing efforts. So I'm going to share that with you. Let me say this. This is so powerful. Only use it for good. I'll tell you, if you don't use this for good right now, something detrimental is going to happen to your business, right? Or to you, right? So be very mindful that what we're getting ready to talk about with these cognitive biases, that is very powerful. All right. But you can use it as a force for good to transform the lives of your clients. But you can use these cognitive biases to get yourself to take action. And this is something that impacts all of us. None of us are immune to these cognitive biases. All right, so I've been talking a lot about it, right? So we're going to get to it in a second, but this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to walk you through, not all of them. I have about 25 cognitive biases that I go to, but this is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to go through all of them, because this will be a super, super long training, right? But what I am going to do is I'm going to go through some of the most impactful ones. I'm going to explain what it is. Some of these have technical terms to it, so I'm going to explain what it is. And I'm also going to explain how you're going to use it in your advertising in order to help move people to action. Now, I'm going to give you some resources throughout this as well, so stay to the end. That's going to be able to help you move forward in this journey. And then if we have any questions at the end, I will take questions. All right. Welcome to Recharging Your Business session. I'm excited. Every day around this time, we go live and we talk about what you need to do to level up and build your business, what you need to do to level up to get more people to know about what you do, to give you more exposure, to give you more visibility, to give you more reach, give you more impressions. What do you need to do? And today we're talking about a very powerful concept that's called cognitive biases, and how you can use them to your advantage, right? To your advantage as a force for good, not manipulation, right? As a force for good. All right. But everybody who's great in business, they understand these consciously or unconsciously. So let me give you the textbook definition, and then I'm going to explain how I see it. Right. So the textbook definition. Let's see. All right. So textbook definition. Hold on. Let me find it. I want to find a good source. Right. All right. So textbook definition, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, which is the source, it says It is a systematic error in the way that individuals reason about the world due to subjective perception of reality. It says cognitive biases are predictable patterns of error in how the human brain functions, therefore are widespread, which means that it can affect how people even understand the perception of reality. Right? That's what I'm saying, that this is powerful. And then they also mentioned it's it's not always based on it, like when you could really boil this down, they say cognitive biases could lead to irrational decisions, right? And that's why I say you got to use this as a force for good, because these cognitive biases are so powerful that once you use these on people, you can actually lead them down the wrong path. So like you have to be very mindful. And that's why I only work with people who got good hearts. And that's why I only work with people for like, I just did a podcast yesterday and they were asking me some questions, just about business and things of that nature. And one of the things that I was telling them and about the people that I work with and our clients, and one of the things I told them is I said, I only work with people who are really in business because they got a good heart and really want to help people. Obviously, we all want to make money, right? We're not doing this for free. But for you to work with me, it's not just because you got a credit card, just because you got the money to buy into it. There's more of a criteria to be able to work with me, whether I'm coaching you through our certification program, our business certification program, or whether it is through our advertising agency, Mass Attention Marketing, right? Either way, for you to be a client of ours, you have to be a good person, have integrity, but you also have to really want to see your people win. So as long as you're doing that, then we on a good path, right? But I'm prefacing all of this because I'm telling you that this is super powerful. Some of these things you've been doing, or some of these things has been working on you. Like I said, it works on all of us. Like nobody's immune to these cognitive biases. It's just like human. It's just way our brains function, right? But it's important that you have a good heart when you're applying these. All right. So that's the textbook definition. Now, how do I really view this? I really view it as these cognitive biases are literally just ways that we think, but sometimes it's a way for us to shortcut our thinking. Like and sometimes it's irrational, and many times it's not, many times it's not logical, but some of them are logical, but just because it's logical doesn't always mean that it's 100% true 100% of the time. And that's really what these biases are, is that you can apply these, or you've been subject to these. We've all been subject to these, but realize that our brain uses these as a fact. And when we use these cognitive biases as a fact, that's where some of the irrational thinking comes into play. And that's where if this is being used on you, or using it with other people, that's why you have to have a good heart. Because that means you're only helping people take actions on things that's going to help them, not going to hurt them. Which is why if your only motivation is money, and part of it is, I like money too, right? So that's part of my motivation, but that's not my core. That's not my main. That's not my only motivation, right? So when I'm working with people, if I'm working with clients or customers, or just putting out free content or whatever I'm doing, I'm keeping them. I know that my heart and my intentions is good, that I'm doing certain things to move you to action. Does that make sense? So, all right, so let's jump into it. All right, so I hope you're excited. And by the way, if you're excited already, go ahead and put excited. Go ahead and put I can't wait to get into these biases, or I can't wait in the chat. Give them some like and give them some love. And by the way, if you know somebody who's been in business for a while and they're struggling to get momentum and get going, I can virtually guarantee that they need some help with these biases, and they're probably not applying it, or applying it as effectively or as frequently. So what I want you to do is to share this training with them and say, yo, this might be one of the missing pieces of why it's been taking you so long to grow or build or monetize or get interest, or right, is likely because of these cognitive biases. All right. So, all right. So let's let's jump into it. All right, so let's move. So first thing, I'm gonna give you a couple of them. I'm not gonna give you all of them. I realized that doing these cognitive biases, before I was doing some things that worked and I didn't understand why, but once I learned this, it really helped out. So let me give you a couple of them. So one of them is what we call anchoring bias. Anchoring, and you can put this in the chat too for folks who are watching the replay. By the way, hashtag replay for all of my replay folks who are watching this. So anchoring bias. So anchoring bias is pretty much where you present. A lot of it is around presenting the highest price thing first. So it anchors you to pay a higher price. So let me explain what this means, right? So basically the definition says present the most expensive option first to make the subsequent options more affordable. We see this all the time, right? Where you'll be presented with multiple options and you'll see something that might be super expensive, but the super expensive thing is not really what they want you to buy, believe it or not. You would think that. That's not necessarily the thing that they want you to buy like that. They know some people will, but that's not going to be most people. Regardless of what it is, most people will not get the most expensive thing. However, depending on how much the most expensive option is, the second most expensive or the third most expensive option seems a lot more palatable based on how much the first option is. You know what I'm saying? So when you're offering or you're presenting, this is more like in a presentation setting, or maybe you're doing consults, or maybe you're presenting somewhere where you're showing people prices. What the anchoring bias says is that people are willing to pay more for your product or service if you present them first with a higher price option. So let me make this even more practical for you. Have you ever tried to sell your product or service, but you was nervous if people would be willing to pay for it? You ever been nervous? Like, damn, I don't know. This might be too expensive for them, right? You counting people's pockets, right? I don't know if they can do it. This might be too expensive, right? So what does that do? It active to offer them this product or service, right? Well, what if you presented that higher price and that made it more palatable for the price that you actually want them to pay? All right. So that's what we call the anchoring bias, and you can use that. I'll give you another one. Another one is, let's see. I'm not gonna go through all of them, man. It's so many that we can do. I got like 25 of them, but I'm just trying to choose the ones that that is going to be the most helpful to you. All right. So another one is what we call confirmation bias. Definition of this says provides data and research that supports and benefits your product or service, reinforcing the customer's existing beliefs and assuring them that they're making the right decision. So here's what's interesting about this, right? So if you use confirmation bias, what that basically saying is that anything that you want people to believe, show them research, show them data, show them something that supports what you're saying. That's going to make what you're saying more believable. So when you do this in your advertisings, guess what? It will be great in the video, or maybe in the primary text or the copy, or somewhere when they consume, even if it's the landing page or somewhere where talk about some data. You can do this in your regular content. You can do this in your reels. You can do this in your training programs. You can do this anywhere that you're educating and or teaching people. It makes what you're saying more believable when you can provide facts and data and evidence based on what you're saying. Can you provide research? Can you show I'll give you an example. So I've done trainings before where, and even posts, regular Facebook posts, where I'll show people I'm not just out here. I don't just know a lot about Facebook ads. You know what I'm saying? Like the paid advertising, like you see me teaching and training about this a lot. I'm not just a guy that just did a bunch of research on this. Like I can show you factual data and evidence. I can show you which I have done, screenshots inside of my campaign ad manager, inside of Facebook, where I've showed you the tens and tens and tens of thousands of leads that I've generated for one of our campaigns inside of Facebook. That's evidence. You're like, oh damn, now my man is legit. Like he's showing real screenshots. Like he's showing real account information. Right? I've shown my Stripe accounts before in trainings and videos, how much I've made in a week or a month or whatever, right? I've shared that before. I've shared I've shared screenshots of some of our clients and some of the results that they've got in terms of what they get in terms of ads. I've shared real testimonials of people saying that they've generated $10K a month or $28,000 a month or et cetera, right? So I'm sharing, these is not something that I'm just saying to you. I'm showing you evidence in facts, in data of people who are getting these results. So what is that going to make it? That's going to make it more believable. That's going to make it more believable. We call this a cognitive bias because, sometimes you can see certain things and you automatically just, take it for fact, right? But that's how we make decisions. Like, that's how we make decisions as human. Like, we need to, all right, show me some evidence. That's why we want to see testimony. So that's why I said it's not a bad thing. But if you had bad intentions, you can probably find facts and data to support the bad intentions. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, like, all of this stuff is very powerful. But when you're using facts and data, use it in a way that's going to empower somebody to make a decision that's going to help them at the end of the day. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, go ahead and put "makes sense" in the chat. That's why this stuff is like super powerful. They have another one that's called loss aversion. This is the common one that we see all the time. We see loss aversion everywhere we go. Loss aversion definition is it offers limited time promotions or exclusive deals to create a sense of urgency to encourage customers to act before they miss out on savings or benefits. So this is where you see last day discounts, right? This is where basically you're offering some type of incentive that they're going to lose. That's why they call it loss aversion. Some type of incentive that they're going to lose if they don't take action, right? So that's a cognitive bias, right? If you take something away from somebody, if somebody's going to lose something, they're way more willing to take action than if you said that I'm going to give you something. It's interesting. Telling somebody they're going to lose $1,000 versus gain $1,000. You'll be surprised that more people would put energy towards losing the $1,000 than actually doing what they need to do to gain the $1,000. Make sense? All right. So that's what we call loss aversion. This one is they call it the scarcity effect. Scarcity effect is like when you have limited availability, limited addition to increase the perceived value of the thing that you have, right? So this is where you see people who wait. I'm saying you see this all the time. This is when you see, like, you ever been to anything like the club? You ever been to a club or a lounge? You ever been to a club or a lounge and you've been waiting online for so long? And I've done this for a long time, especially going to college, right? Where you damn near going to a party or a club every weekend, right? And during the time I didn't really understand, but I'm like, damn, they got everybody waiting outside. It might be cold, it might be raining, it could be whatever, but they have everybody waiting outside. And you know what the crazy part is? Inside the club is completely empty. And it's not like they cleaning up, they sweeping. It's not even like they're doing something because that they have to prep for before everybody comes in. You know what they're doing? What they're doing is they're allowing the line to build up to build the anticipation of something else that I'm getting ready to share with you. Actually, which is the next one, is social proof. So they're building up social proof. They're building up the social proof. I see all of these people online. This must be popping. Let me go to this club. That's social proof. But scarcity says, oh, hold on. We only you got to wait for somebody to come out before you go in. Scarcity says, do you have a ticket? Scarcity says, are you VIP? Right? You feel what I'm saying? Like, scarcity is everybody can't get access to this. It's like exclusivity. Right? So that's what the scarcity effect is. It's like everybody can't get this. Only certain types of people can get it. Or if it's certain conditions, or you feel what I'm saying? So, but you can use that. You can use it to your advantage in business, right? Maybe you only want 10 clients or 5 client high ticket or whatever clients, right? Or maybe whatever, maybe there's an event. And I've done many events before where I didn't want hundreds of people or thousands of people at my event. I only wanted to do it like a mastermind feel, like 5-10 people. So guess what? I can use the scarcity effect. Because that's what I want anyway. So why not leverage this cognitive bias and say, yo, this is an exclusive event for only certain types of people who or who's willing to pay this price, or who's worked with me for a year, or who has this type of thing going on in their business. Or, you feel what I'm saying? And you create the criteria. And what that's going to do is that's going to help you, especially in your advertisements, attract more people. Okay? This is key. This is key. What else we got? By the way, if you loving this, go put OMG. Throw some fire emojis in the chat right now. Let me know if you loving this. Once I really understood and started discovering this, I said, oh my God, like this. I'm like, yo, this works with everybody, right? And not even on myself when I want to encourage myself to do certain things. All right, so that's that. Man, it's so many good ones, but maybe I'll do a private training somewhere and we'll do that. Or maybe when you come into the program, I'll do something. But all right, so recency bias. Somebody write that in the chat for me. Recency bias. Recency bias says it highlights recent success stories, accomplishments, or awards to create a positive, up-to-date impression of your business. Oh my God, this is so good. Recency bias. So basically what this says is you got wins recently. Sometimes you hear people who they used to be successful, or they used to have results, or 5-10 years ago they had results, or or they got somebody, they helped somebody years ago, or you feel what I'm saying? Or they got an award, but the award they got was 5, 10, 20 years ago. And so what the recency bias says is that if you can share any kind of recent wins you got for your clients, any kind of awards, anything that you've done that is credit worthy recently, that's going to make people more interested in what you have. Does that make sense? It's much more powerful if I tell you a testimonial of somebody that got, 50 leads last week than I was working with a client 10 years ago and got 50 leads. You feel what I'm saying? It's literally the same result, but it's different when it's more recent, because it's like, okay, my man is up to date. He's up with the times. He knows how to navigate today's world. You feel what I'm saying? It's more things that they take into consideration when you got recent wins. So be mindful of helping your people, your clients, or getting testimonials that are recent so you can share that, and that'll help encourage more people. Oh my God, this is too amazing. All right. This one is the halo effect. Halo effect. The halo effect says, associate your brand with respected individuals, experts, or celebrities to transfer their positive attributes or credibility to your product or service. This is where, you see a lot of people who do podcasts like that, right? Where they'll interview people who are successful. Well, guess what? If I interview enough people that are successful, you're gonna be like, damn, my man is in the industry, my man is up, or she's up, or like this ain't, if Rick Ross is willing to come on a platform, or Diddy is willing to come on a platform, or Oprah is willing to come on a platform, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, okay, I see that this person is, or E.T. or whatever, right? Like, I see this person is legit, you know what I'm saying? So let me rock with this person. That is called the halo effect. The people that are around you that people see or associate you with, you get a chance to get that brand credibility. I understood 100% that when, shout out to my guy, Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, I understood that when he started following me on Instagram, that I know for a fact that there's going to be people of his tribe that will follow me, because it's like, yo, damn, E.T. he got millions of followers. Like, he ain't just going to follow anybody. So if he's following Terrell, like, who's this Terrell guy? Like, let me look into what he's doing. Let me pay attention to what he's doing. Let me follow what he's doing. That's the halo effect. All right. So how can you use influencers, prominent figures, and it don't have to be necessarily influencers. It could be like local city council. It could be the mayor. It could be the vice president or the president of a bank. It could be, you feel what I'm saying? Like anybody who has any type of credibility or stature, if there's a way that you can associate yourself with them, even if it's taking a picture, it could be an interview, it can be whatever, people will start to associate you with more success. All right. What I'm sharing with you right now is the behind the scenes of what a lot of marketers or business owners or influencers, I don't know if they really want you to know, or like this is like the secret sauce, right? Like this right here easily add extra 2 zeros to your bottom line. Easily. If you just trying to make your first 6 figures, it's an easily fly you right into 6 figures. Because once you do this and the more often you do it, the more people are gonna know, like, and trust you. And the more people know, like, and trust you, the more they're gonna be willing to do business with you. So this is, oh man, this is super, super key. And I wish I would have learned this early on because it would have been a game changer. All right, I'll give you a couple more. I'll give you and then we'll wrap up. This one is called authority bias. This one you know, whether you know it or don't. You know this one. Authority bias says you're going to feature industry experts, thought leaders, or professionals or endorsing your product or service to establish credibility or trust. So how I look at authority bias is I kind of look at it as like 2 in 1, because you can have your own authority or you can leverage the authority of other people. So it's one thing for me to be taking a picture with you, but it's a whole nother thing that if you're endorsing my services, you're endorsing my program, you're referring my program, and it's somebody who has authority that's doing it. So that's one way. And then another aspect to authority bias is you being the authority. When you position yourself in a marketplace as an expert, people are going to go to you for guidance. The problem is people don't post often enough. They're afraid to post their best content. So guess what? People don't view you as an authority. So people are not going to do business with you. This is so important. I really want y'all to understand this because this is something that it took me years to figure out, is that what you post online and what you're doing is having an effect in a perception of your audience or your marketplace. So if you're not seen online that often, or you don't post or you don't publish content that often, guess what? People are going to think that, okay, this must not be a main thing. This must not be something you're serious about. And if you're not serious about it, how can you be an expert at something you're not serious about? Because experts put in the time every day. Experts are learning every day. Experts are keeping their knowledge up to date. Experts are showing up every day. If you got a doctor's office or a dentist's office, who are you going to take more seriously? The doctor's office that's open once a year, or the doctor's office that's open every day? Which store are you going to take seriously? You know, you think about, I live in New York, right? We have corner stores all over the place in New York. Are you going to take the store seriously that is open every day, or are you going to take the store seriously that is open once a month or a couple times throughout the year? Most of the time, you give more credibility to the people that you can rely on. I know if I need to go to the store to get this milk for my baby, I know I can rely on going to the store because they're always going to have it in stock and they're going to be open. As opposed to this store open and close whenever they feel like it. Are they going to be open today? Are they not going to be open today? Too unpredictable. I'd rather just go to the predictable choice. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, this authority bias you can apply to anything, but you got to show up, and then you got to show up in our space with good content. And you got to show up as an expert, giving real, legit, authentic, helpful content and training to your people. When you do that, they're going to respect you and they're going to look at you as an authority. Make sense? All right. So that's what we focused on. So that's what we're looking at. So that is what you call the authority bias. And oh my God, if you loving this, go ahead and put "this is amazing." Go ahead and drop "this is amazing" in the chat. All right. Let me know if this is helpful to you. All right. Let's see. Oh man, this is so much good stuff. Oh my God. All right. I can't even go through all of these, but I'm gonna give you this one. I'm probably give you a couple more. The priming effect. So the priming effect says use imagery, language, and cues that are associated with positive emotions or experiences to create a favorable impression and mindset presenting your product or service. So what that means is before somebody's presented with an opportunity to work with you, if there's a way that you can basically pre-frame their mind in a positive light before they actually get into the sales encounter, you're more likely going to increase the conversions, right? So That's like somebody coming into, I'm just using doctor's office because it's a physical thing that's easy. That's somebody coming to your doctor's office, but before you meet with the doctor and they give you the diagnosis and everything you need to do and what you need to pay for and all of that, it's like you're coming into an environment, it's comfortable chairs, nice environment, smells clean, smells good, friendly staff, right? It's just like the whole experience before you even get to the sales encounter is dope. So by the time you get to the sales encounter, you're going to be more likely to want to invest. You know how we do that online? We do that online before you meet with somebody, right? What if before you meet, you send them to a web page or you send them to your website? This is potential clients, right? You say, listen, I want you to go to my website. I want you to check out this landing page or this web page. We call it a homework page. I want you to check out this homework page. And I want you to review all of the information on this page. Now, what is this page doing? This page is priming them. It's priming them so they can understand who you are. They can understand what you teach and what you train on, what you have authority in. This is a great page to show testimonials. This is a great page to show data, facts, statistics. You feel what I'm saying? So what this is doing is this is priming somebody. So by the time they get to the strategy call with you, they're in a place where like, yo, I already know you legit. Because what happens is a lot of times if you're trying to help people, right? If they don't really know that much about you or they got to do more research, then they're not going to sign up. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to sign up. It's going to be harder for them to sign up. I'll put it to you that way. Because they still feel, even if you got a friendly personality, they still feel like, okay, sounds good, but I got to learn more about this guy or this girl. And they're gonna go do their own research anyway. So how we can leverage this online is why don't you just create a landing page or a site where you can just send them to it and let them do their own research on your site. Because you can highlight certain things that they can see, like, okay, I see that this person is doing a thing. I see that this person is legit, and they get people results. You feel what I'm saying? That's powerful. I promise you, like this is the stuff like behind the scenes that make it go. Like a lot of the things that you'll see online, on YouTube videos, on on Instagram, on Facebook, on wherever, you got to realize this. This is why when you're trying to be successful, it's not just on one thing. It's not just, I'm just going to attend this webinar and be successful, or I'm just going to read this ebook and be successful. It's because it's all these little nuances that come with being successful in business that you're not going to learn that overnight. These are certain things that you pick up along the way and that you add it to your tool belt. So then now you're doing this, but you figure out these cognitive biases. Okay, what Terrell was talking about. Okay, let me add this. And then as you continue your journey, you figure out something else. Okay, let me add that to the tool belt. And all you're doing in business over the years is getting better at the skill sets and adding tools to your tool belt to make what you do more powerful. That's why time and volume in business is everything. Because the more you do something, the more you see the result, the more you get reinforced. And then the longer you do it, the more you get better at the skill set. That's why there's no get rich quick. That's why it's just putting in the work, but doing it more frequently. And it seems like people are making money quickly, but it's not really that they're making money quickly. It's that they're implementing faster than other people, and they're learning these skills and applying it to get faster results. So that's like, we get people watch, and this is like a quick tangent, and I'll give you like maybe like two more. That's like somebody saying, let's say we get, I don't know how many people's gonna watch this, right? But let's just say, we got two people who watch this, right? Person A watches this and they're like, yo, this makes a lot of sense. This cognitive bias is what Terrell is talking about. I'm gonna implement it one day. And it takes them a year to start implementing it. And then person B says, yo, this is dope. I like these cognitive biases. And they create a video today after this goes off, implementing it. And by the time it gets a year, even if they implemented it once a day, doing a video, sending out an email, doing an advertisement, let's say they find a way in their everyday life with their wife, with their job, with their boss, right? That's why I said this is human psychology, right? We talking about advertising and business, but this is human psychology. So who's going to be more skillful at the end of a year? Person A, who it took them a year to start doing it, so they don't even really know how to implement it or what to do, right? Or person B, They did it every day. So now they got 365 references. They got 365 days of experience. They have 365 instances where they applied it. Do you think that they learned something along that time? Doing it hundreds of times over and over and over and over. Do you think they learned something? Let's think about this for a second. That's why frequency and time matters. When you're learning to really learn something, you got to apply it immediately. That don't mean you're necessarily going to get the exact results you want, but you got to apply it immediately. And when you apply it immediately, and you do it more often, you're going to get phenomenal results at a faster rate than anybody else. So when they look up in the year, they're going to be like, damn, like I felt like, where'd you come from? Like you just came out of nowhere. But it ain't that you ain't came out of nowhere. It's that you was doing your thing for a year. And by the time they looked up, they're like, damn, I felt like I just saw you talking about that thing. You was just getting started a year ago. And all of a sudden, a year later, now you already at 6 figures. And everybody looking like, yo, how'd that happen? So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. But that's super important, all right? I'm giving game. That's the game right there. All right, let me give you a couple more. Man, the ones that I think is going to help you the most. A lot of good things, man. All right, and the endowment effect. So the endowment effect says offer a free trial or not even free, but offer a trial or a money back guarantee to customers so they develop a sense of ownership and attachment. So most people think that offering a free trial or a money back guarantee is like, okay, I get my money back and that's why they're going to do it, right? Which that is part of it. But what this bias is saying, which is called the endowment effect, this bias is saying, if you give somebody a free trial, what's going to happen is they're going to have a sense of ownership and attachment to it, right? They have a sense of ownership and attachment to the thing that you gave them. So there's a story. I don't know if this is a true story or not, but I heard a story. And basically the story goes, there was two pony owners, right? So there was a father. He wanted to get his daughter a pony. So he went to the first owner. He went to the first basically business and said, hey, I want to get one of your ponies off of your farm. You know, what does it take? So the guy told him, he said, okay, he told him the price. And he basically, just said, okay, this is what it gets. This is what you get. Simple, right? That's business number one. Business number two, they say, okay, they go to another business. Business number two, second guy with the pony on the farm, he says, I want to get one of your ponies. He said, what does it take? He said, okay, to get the pony, he explains it, what he got to do to buy the pony. But he said, look, if you're still unsure, this is what I want you to do. Go home, take the pony with you. Matter of fact, what pony do you want? Pick out the pony. She picks out the pony. Says, what do you want to name the pony? Right? She names the pony. So, all right, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take the pony home. He says the name of the pony. And says, I want you to have the pony for a week. And if you don't want this pony, bring the pony back after a week free of charge. You mean to tell me you're going to let me take this pony home, right? So, but why though? Why would business owner number two do that? Why would they do that? Why would they just let you just take a pony home for free? Why? Sense of ownership. When you give somebody something and they get a chance to experience the product or service, they're more likely to buy it. Or they're more likely to, indulge in it. And we've all experienced this in real time. I was just doing a training. I was just teaching a class the other day, and I gave an example of, you ever been to like a food court, right? And you go to the food court and you see people giving out the samples. A lot of times I see like the maybe like the Japanese spots or like the hibachi spots or whatever, and they'll give you something on a toothpick, right? And I remember one time they gave me like this teriyaki chicken, and I wasn't really that hungry, but I was like, all right, let me taste it. And I tasted it and I said, oh my God, this is amazing. I said, let me go. I said, this is good. I'm gonna go get a meal. And not only I got the teriyaki chicken, I said, hold on. I said, you got the 2-for-1 combo. I said, okay, go ahead and throw the shrimp in there. I said, okay, we got the fried rice. Okay, it's a little bit extra for the vegetable fried rice. All right, let me get the vegetable fried rice. Okay, cool. I got the drink. You got the sweet tea. I like the. And I went and bought a whole meal because they gave me a sample, a free trial. They gave me something to get the experience first, and that's what hooked me. Right? Does that make sense? So powerful. This is really, really powerful. All right. I'm gonna give you one more. I'll give you one more. All right. So another one is what we call sunk cost fallacy. Sunk cost fallacy. My very experienced marketers know about this. Sunk cost fallacy is where you talk about what people have already invested in up until that point. Meaning, so let's just say, I'll give you a few examples. Let's say you have a product or service that's related to weight loss. Now, if you're a fitness trainer or whatever service you're offering, when you're having a conversation with somebody who's potentially interested in your services, the sunk cost fallacy says that you can talk about what they've already invested or put into this endeavor already. You can talk about how they've been trying diet after diet after diet and it hasn't worked. You can talk about all of the money that they spent on supplements. You can talk about, all of the time that they sacrificed away from family or whatever. And then you can use that and say, look, don't you want to use something that actually works? You might as well, you can't quit now out of everything you've already invested in it because it's a sunk cost. You've already spent so much time. You know where you see this a lot at? You see this a lot in relationships where somebody will be married or be in a relationship, and the longer you're with the person, the harder it is to leave because of the sunk cost fallacy. And the sunk cost fallacy says, in our brains we'll say, we already invested a lot of time and energy and effort into this, so we might as well keep going. That's why they call it a fallacy, because that doesn't necessarily mean you need to keep going because you've invested a lot already. You feel what I'm saying? That's why it's a bias, because it's not necessarily true 100% of the time. Now, it could be true depending on certain circumstances or what you're looking to get or the benefit you're looking to achieve. That don't mean you quit because you've already invested a lot of time, money, and effort. So don't get that twisted. Like, don't say, I've been working with a coach and it ain't been working, right? You got to make the decision and saying, okay, I've already invested a lot of time, energy, and effort, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel, so I'm going to stay. Okay, that's sunk cost fallacy working in your favor. But if you're doing something that's clearly not working and is clearly not benefiting you, but because you've already invested X amount of resources in it, you feel like you need to continue, that's where the fallacy comes into play. So is that it's not always 100% guaranteed because you put in the time, energy, and effort that you need to continue. So that's something that, that one, you want to be mindful of, but two, that's something that we can also leverage to help people take action if it's for their benefit. And again, I keep reiterating this because all of these things I want you to use for positivity, use to help empower people to make great decisions, because these biases, it could be used for other things. So, all right, so we're going to stop it there. Did y'all love this? Was this exciting? Was this helpful? Put yes, I needed this in the chat. Just go ahead and throw a yes, I needed the chat. This is something that, it's so powerful, especially when you start using these things as a force for good to help people make decisions. And by the way, this is also something that you can do this is something that you can also do for yourself, right? Does that make sense? Like this is something that you don't have to, what's the best way for me to put it? It's not something to ignore. And this is not something to shy away from, because you're doing things in a manner that's helping empower people. All right. So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know that you're loving this. Let me give you a couple resources real quick before we roll out. So number one, if you love this, I need you to share it. It's number one. Like, go out and share this content with people. And then two, if you need any help with this, you can go ahead and drop Facebook ads below. And then what I'll do is I'll work with you in terms of potentially getting on a call and seeing what we can do. I want to know your situation and potentially look at what it could look like us helping you, me helping you out, coaching you, but then also bringing you leads on a consistent basis. All right, so we can have that conversation. But please, like, if you don't do anything else, share this with somebody who you know could use this and benefit from this in a business. I don't have access to everybody in the world. Everybody in the world don't follow me. All right. So that's why I'm hoping that this is helpful to you, and I want you to share this with other people that this could be benefit from, that could benefit from this. So don't be selfish and hoard all of this great information to yourself. Like these biases and some of these things that I know and how to apply them and use them, I could just keep all this information to myself and just leverage it and use it, and it'll continue to work phenomenally like it's been working, right? But however, I want more people to learn and leverage this, because when they know it and they doing this as a force for good, they can take their business to a whole nother level, all right? So with that being said, I appreciate you. Continue to be great. Continue to learn. If we don't have any questions, and just continue to rock out, all right? And and don't let anybody take you off your game. Keep learning, keep applying these things, right? And until we work together in the future, or until I see you in the future, continue to be great. And see you on another Recharge Your Business session. Let's work.